I can see clearly a massive, huge helicopter airplane shooting live ammunition from the decks on board of the Marmara. A crazy amount of bullets coming up. I think they are around the 800mm guns, shoots on top of the deck. Nearly 2-3 minutes, and after that, all that you can see is the soldiers sliding through the ropes, landing on top of the decks, and absolutely a mess going on there. Thank you very much. Dear friends, supporters, colleagues, everybody. At the time of the attack, I was on board of the ship 8000, which is being provided by the European movement to break the siege of Gaza. Before that, I was in every ship. I was in Challenger 2, I was in Challenger 1, I was on Marmara for 2 nights, I slept on it, and then we moved to the 2000, the 8000, sorry. At the time of the attack, exactly it was the time of 2 o'clock UK time, 4 o'clock Jerusalem time. That was the Fajr prayer. We heard from Marmara the adhan for the golden call, and then we performed our Fajr prayer. The minute we finish our prayer, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, immediately we can hear live ammunition, live guns, shots, helicopters, zodiacs, sound. It was so much disturbance. We came running on board of our ship on the surroundings. Marmara boat or Marmara ship was in front of us. I can see clearly a massive, huge helicopter airplane shooting live ammunition from the decks on board of the Marmara. A crazy amount of bullets coming up. I think they are around the 800mm guns, shoots on top of the deck. Nearly 2-3 minutes, and after that, all that you can see is the soldiers sliding through the ropes, landing on top of the decks, and absolutely a mess going on there. Within the 3 minutes, all what we can see surrounding our boats, it is hundreds of Zodiacs and 4 medium-sized Israeli occupation warships. They were surrounding us. Within no time, they were shooting at us with the paintballing games. They were hitting the people on board the deck because we came up surrounding the deck to prevent the Israeli soldiers to come on board. We were trained and we were prepared to be defending our boats in a humanitarian manners. Do not attack the Israeli, do not even physically touch them, just try to be an object, one of them, to prevent them from coming aboard. Despite all that, we were 45 people on board the 800 ship, and over 50 soldiers, they managed to come on board that vessel. Some of them, they came immediately to the lower deck. We were at the bottom deck, 4 people, 4 activists. And the majority, they went upstairs to the captain's room to protect it. They made kind of a chain surrounded, people hooking each other, hooks, arms to arms. They surrounded the captain cabin to prevent the Israeli from coming in. What if my witnesses with me in boat, we saw the Israeli holding electric shock kind of device. They were electrocuting people to try to prevent them or to release their arms from each other to enter the camp. At the bottom deck where I was alongside an ambassador. His name he was from the Free Palestine movement. It was Ambassador Edward Lee Peake. This man, he's 83 years old. Ambassador retired from the American. He was ambassador to Iraq for so many years, to Iran, to Syria. And this man, he was a great man. I give him all my respect. Young soldiers, 23 years of age or even middle 20s, came across and hit the ambassador from the floor. I couldn't handle that. Immediately I went for the soldiers. I pushed him through my hands. And I hugged the ambassador at the time. Out of the blue, with the M16 behind him, he smacked me at my back. I fall on the floor. I started pushing him with my feet. 3-4 bunches of his M16 against my foot. I had a light injury before I joined the Challenger 1. We were in Crete. I skidded in the road. I twisted my leg. I was slightly limping, but on board that vessel, he hit me 3-4 times with his M16. It resulted in a huge injury to my foot. Then the Israeli, the minute they take our ship, they came with the German Shepherd dogs. 4 of them, they were with the soldiers, they came on board the deck, and we were absolutely petrified at the moment of the dogs more than the soldiers. They were absolutely all muzzled to prevent them from biting us, but although they tried to release the dogs to attack us. The Israeli managed to sustain the ship for nearly an hour till they managed to enter the captain cabin. After they entered the captain cabin, they tried to start the ship, they couldn't. Our captain, he says, as he came down to us, we are safe, they will never be able to start the engines of the ship. Despite 2-3 hours, they managed to break the engine, and they tried to start 1 engine instead of 4 of them, but our captain had released and has managed the vessel to move. And they took us all to the upper deck. We had Dr. Lee Lauren, Dr. Paul Lauren, he's from Free Palestine movement. He was being beaten up by the Israeli soldiers in the upper deck. He was bleeding from his nose. They were tightly handcuffed him. Despite all that, he managed to jump into the water from on board, from as much as being attacked by the Israeli. The 3 warships, they came to pick him up from the water. He was wearing the life jackets. And Dr. Paul, every time the vessels came to take him, he was swimming far away from them. Despite that, the 3 divers, they came across the sea as he was swimming. They grabbed him. By my own eyes, I see him, the soldiers punching him across the face 3-4 times, and they were grabbing him from the head, dragging him under the water, and pulling him up. After that, we were taken up to Ashdod. I was beside the captain just at the first call when they communicated with us, 12 o'clock the time. The captain told me we are exactly 90 miles away from the Israeli or the Palestinian 48 shores. The minute the Israeli took over us, we were sailing on the sea for nearly 9 hours till we reached the city of Ashdod. After we reached Ashdod, the Israeli prevented us taking any of our belongings, nothing, only your passport and your medication, and that is it. All our mobile phones, camcorders, all our belongings has been left. All our monies, we had lots of money to be given to the Palestinian people, left on board the ship, and they were taking us detained. Regarding my injuries, they find out that I am a Palestinian. They transfer me to Al-Mas'uliyah in Jerusalem to find out what is my situation. Do I have a Palestinian ID or not? If I want to have a Palestinian ID, I will be detained as a Palestinian. I will be taken to the West Bank interrogation, and that will be a serious matter more than any activist. Therefore, they find out my ID has been expired or I have been deported before, and the decision was to transfer me to Tel Aviv airport. I was detained there for 2 days with interrogations, and the 3rd day morning I was deported among the El Al flight to Heathrow. Left at 10:20 in the morning. I arrived at 1 o'clock to Heathrow airport, and then I managed to communicate with my family in Qatar. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that testimony, Hassan, of exactly what happened to you on board that ship.